Mikal Bridges is shocking everybody as after a long time of many Knicks fans kind of freaking out that maybe they overpaid for a guy who was not figuring it out with the New York Knicks. He has completely turned that around over the last month, and all of this culminated in him having arguably the best game of his NBA career just now on Christmas, leading the New York Knicks to a massive win over the San Antonio Spurs, and Victor Wembanyama looking like a monster. And we're going to break it all down, discussing Mikal, the rise to just prominence that he has, where now he looks like an all-star level player and one of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris and Dariel here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. If you guys enjoyed the channel, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for 10,000 subscribers. We're here to talk about basketball, so let's jump right into it. Dariel, Mikal Bridges obviously had a slower start to the season, and many fans were fearful that giving up 5 first-round picks for him was a mistake, as maybe those picks could have been allocated elsewhere, such as when Giannis became available around the same time when it seemed like he could potentially be traded just months after the Knicks made the Mikal Bridges trade. Many Knicks fans feared that Bridges was not going to be able to figure it out on the Knicks, but he has proved everybody wrong thus far, as Bridges went out and had a 41-point performance against the San Antonio Spurs, scoring at will, being the leading offensive force, just shooting an incredible rate, 6 for 8 from 3, hitting, 16 for 24 from the field. Mikal Bridges looked absolutely phenomenal tonight while also playing elite defense. This has been the case all month. So now what we've seen, to me, Dariel, it feels like Mikal has just figured out his role with the Knicks, and there's no looking back.
First things first, Merry Christmas to all. Second thing, no need to fear. Mikal Bridges is here. The thing with Mikal Bridges is this whole season, the fans have been going back and forth because he's been playing good, and then he's been having a bad game, and then he's been playing good. So yeah, today he had a great game, 41 points. I don't think you and we actually saw that happening. If anything, I thought Cat was going to have a breakout offensive game. But one of the themes for the season is Cat being in foul trouble, and Cat being the only big man that we have. It suits him that he was in foul trouble today, but that's not really his fault. The front office, we got to figure it out how to get someone to help him out. But focusing on Mikal Bridges, super happy for him. Super happy that we have him on the team. 41 points, a breakout game. But the thing that we got to keep it real about with Mikal is the game right after he has a good game, it's kind of like a mid game. And now we're going to see when they play next, which I don't remember when the next game is. But I'm looking at since the beginning of December, I'm looking at his box scores. The very first game of the month, he had 31. And then after that, he had 19, 19, 20, 23, 19, 17, 29, 18. And the game prior to today, he had 14. The first game of the month, he had 31 points. And then after that, he was in the 18 to 20 range, which isn't bad. But like you said at the beginning of this video, we're giving up 5 first-round picks for him. We're looking for him to be an essential part of the offense. We're not really looking for him to be the third option, but we need him to be an essential part of the offense. And it's a little tricky with Mikal Bridges. Like I said earlier, I'm very happy for him that he had this offensive breakout game, but I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on him for the duration of not even the season, just for the next couple of weeks. I want to see how he plays. I want to see if he keeps this consistent play up or if he's going to have a bad shooting slump within the next 4 or 5 games.
The Knicks, their next game is in one of the MSG Souths, which is Orlando. A ton of Knicks fans are always there.
Wow.
Knicks fans always drown out the Magic crowd there. It's there in Charlotte. Knicks fans just always outnumber the other fans, and obviously Brooklyn, but Brooklyn is a Knicks borough.
Facts.
It doesn't matter if the Nets are there. But no, it's fair to always kind of keep in the back of your mind the understanding that as great as Mikal Bridges has been throughout his entire NBA career, no matter where Bridges has been, whether it's been Phoenix, New York, or Brooklyn, he's had a positive impact on winning games. It took him a minute for him to really get going with the Knicks. And I think it was the third time in not a very long span where he's playing a different role. Cameron Payne said it best. he's kind of a hybrid of who he was between Phoenix and Brooklyn. He's being asked to do a lot of shot creation like in Brooklyn, but it's also more of that 3-and-D role at the same time, where he's also kind of creating more shots. Essentially, what the Knicks are asking for him is to mesh these two roles and do more than he's ever done because he's hit the prime of his career and he's one of he's one of the better players in basketball. The Knicks see him as an essential part to this team and someone who fits beautifully. And this month, we've seen Mikal at his best in that hybrid role. I mean, 22.7 points per game, 3.5 assists, 2.5 rebounds in the 11 games in December so far. Now he's shooting 57.7% from the field and 47% from three. So Bridges is balling out very well. He's doing his thing. He's doing exactly what the New York Knicks paid for when they traded for him. Now, look, the Knicks, they're in a spot where they have other guys who could take over, who could kind of score so well, obviously, between Karl-Anthony Towns, who looks like an MVP candidate, and Jalen Brunson, who's just one of the best players in the NBA. Bridges isn't always going to get this chance to go off for 41 points. I mean, just throughout his career, he's rarely gotten the opportunity to do that outside of Brooklyn. So now on the Knicks, where, as you said, it's not exactly that he's the third option. The Knicks, it doesn't feel like they have a ton of options in scoring. It just kind of feels like it's like almost tier levels, where it's like Brunson and Towns, Mikal and OG, Josh Hart, Deuce, and everyone else. Like, that's kind of what it feels like this season. The Knicks are they're in a good spot where anyone can go off, whatever. They have just a bunch of good players on this team, and it's why they're 20-10. It's why they're on such a heater right now. I mean, they are 15-4 in their last 19 games. Had to do math real quick, and apparently 15 plus 4 gave me a bit of trouble. But only one of those losses has been to a team that's above 500. So one of the good things is we're seeing the Knicks beat good teams. Now, yes, it's a little worrisome when 3 of those losses are obviously to sub 500 teams. But we've seen this with the Knicks. We've seen this with Tom Thibodeau teams in general throughout his career, honestly, as a head coach. They kind of just play to their level of competition sometimes. I mean,
Right.
You look at the Knicks and Spurs, dude. Everyone knows the Knicks are better. But they made the Spurs look good. And this is a favorable matchup for the Spurs. I mean,
The Spurs aren't bad, though.
Oh, no, not at all. They're not at all bad.
Compared to last season, they're better. They're a lot better.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I enjoy watching them play. But, like, they're not contending for an NBA championship, and that's what the Knicks are supposed to be doing. So the Knicks came in. They were supposed to win this game. They were major favorites. I think they were 7-point favorites in this game. But no, what we've seen from the New York Knicks, at least, I think we're looking at a team that is figuring it out as they go along, while also sometimes they do play to their level of competition. Maybe it's them kind of taking the night off to a degree. Because today, they played a team that they should have beat, and they did win. But you could see how badly they wanted this win.
Something else that we should keep in the forefront of our mind is, I hate to bring up old stuff and I hate to sound like a broken record, but we don't have our team fully set. Mitchell Robinson is he's one of the bright spots that we have on the bench, still recovering from that injury. And with Cat not really having a lot of help, Precious Achiuwa, Jericho Sims, and Ariel Hukporti being his support group, we already know both of our feelings about that. But what I'm trying to say is, like, Knicks fans, we should be expecting not a crazy run. We should not be expecting to be top. I honestly don't think we should expect to finish in the top 3. If we finish 4 to 5 range, I'll be happy with that. Right now, I think we're in 3rd in the East, which is still really early on in the season. But what I'm trying to say is that the NBA is fully loaded with talent, East and West Coast. And the Knicks, we don't have our full team yet. And they're still developing chemistry. They're still trying to implement Mikal Bridges. There's still a lot going on around this team. So there are going to be nights where we play good and then we have a letdown. Now, I'm not saying that I'm happy with that. I'm not saying that I want them to play down to their competition. But we also got to be fair. They're playing 82 games a season. The NBA schedule is gruesome. So we just gotta keep it in perspective. We got to keep it fair. But what I do want to talk about, I also want to talk about Victor Wembanyama, the alien himself, finishing with 42 points. See, this is my gripe with Victor Wembanyama. My man took 16 threes, bro. 16 3-point attempts. He only hit 6 of them, 37.5%. And I get it, man. Today's NBA landscape is three, is pace and space, is analytics. But dude, you're 7'7", bro. You have the ability to put the ball on the floor and you have the ability to shoot it behind 3-point line. But when you're 7'7", the majority of your game, the majority of your points should be in the paint. Like it literally like breaks my mind. Like 16 threes, bro?
I agree with you. I'm
No
100% on the same
way.
page.
16 threes, no way. He should be in the same spot where I put Cat in. He should be averaging anywhere between 5 to 8, maybe pushing 9 threes. 16 threes is way beyond any measurement that I can say. He finished with 31 field goal attempts, but I mean he's the main person on the team, so I understand that. That's fine. 16 field goals made out of 31 attempts, 51.6%. He's the cornerstone. He's a franchise player, so that's fine. But dude, 16 threes, come on.
I agree with you 100%. Look, he's the tallest player in the NBA. He has a lot of he's got a lot of tools in that toolbox. Something that I clocked at the very end of the game. I was watching the game with my family, my mom and my brother, and I said to them, there was a serious gripe. Because like you, we've talked about this before. Obviously, we want the Knicks to win, but we also just root for good basketball. Like we enjoy watching good basketball. We've talked about this in the past, both on and off the camera. Like watching Wemby, it it feels like the way someone would play NBA 2K almost, where it's like, dude, like, so Wemby gets the ball. He's being guarded by Precious, who's 6'8". Wemby's 7'5".
Right.
That is a massive height difference. Use that and just use a post hook on him. Precious isn't jumping through the air and blocking that shot. And Wemby pulls up on an elbow midi. That is not the play. Run a pick and roll with Chris Paul. Either get the switch or mess with the Knicks a little bit because either Chris Paul is going to be able to do that thing where he manipulates space and gets a wide open mid range, or you're going to have Wemby roll into the hoop and Precious is so much smaller. You just throw the ball up in the air. Wemby's going to be the one to grab it. No, I had some. I also, just as a basketball fan, was bothered by the way that Wemby was playing basketball. I think there was so much trying to be Kevin Durant when there should be less of that. And I will say, I sort of disagree with you on the Cat front. I don't think Wemby should be shooting 5 to 8 threes per game. Cat's maybe very likely the greatest three-point shooting big man of all time. I don't count Kevin Durant as a big man.
Me neither, yeah.
Like they're the same height, but it's
Yeah,
its own
yeah,
thing.
yeah. So how many threes do you think Cat should be taking a game?
Well, I think Cat is fine at 5 to 9. I think you're absolutely correct on that front. I think with Wemby, he should be shooting like 5 at most. Dude, he's
Oh, okay,
shooting
okay, okay.
35.7% from deep this season. It's not like he's a 40% shooter. The man is way better inside the arc. And it's hard to criticize a guy who's putting up 25 and 10 and with 4 assists and 4 blocks. Look,
Right.
obviously an all-star this season, probably the defensive player of the year as well. Wemby is as good as advertised. It's just why is he taking these deep threes all the time? We get it. You're a good shooter. That's great. It changes the way that anyone can guard him because of how good of a shooter he is. But I don't know, maybe don't shoot half your shots as threes when you're the tallest player in the NBA. It feels like a bad
Yeah.
idea to me.
And there were some instances, there were some examples where the San Antonio Spurs, where it was like out of a sidelines, out of bounds, or it was underneath the hoop. They literally just threw the ball around the rim and he just placed it into the hoop. There were a couple of instances in today's game where we saw that. I just want to see it a little bit more. It's just going to be very interesting to see where his career goes from here because
Yeah.
I'm fully expecting him to be in the MVP conversation by his fifth season, which gives him 3 more seasons. But if we're gonna see him continue on this trajectory of just shooting 16 threes, where like you're the tallest player in the league, I mean, if he's hit, it's hard, man, because he has the ability to do it. So I don't want to knock him for using his abilities. But when you have an obvious mismatch, like I'm just very interested to see where his career goes from here. But definitely a promising player. Love to watch him play. Just one of my gripes that I have with him.
I think you're correct to have that gripe personally. Where that team is also, you revolve so heavily around Wemby. Right now, if he wants to shoot threes and avoid running through the paint and getting injured, that's fine. This season, I don't want to say it doesn't matter for the Spurs. It does matter. The Spurs should do
Absolutely.
everything to try to make the playoffs because no one goes from out of the playoffs to the NBA finals. Like you need to have those times where you just learn how to play in the playoffs, where you just kind of take that time. Wemby should try to get that playoff experience as soon as possible, especially so he doesn't become comfortable with losing. That's the thing that is always talked about with young players. You
Right.
don't ever want someone to just be on this team that for 4 or 5 years just can't make the playoffs and you have this star prospect, or they'll become a little more comfortable with not winning in the NBA.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you. Yo, random question, but other than the Knicks game, what's the other game that you're looking forward to the most? The Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves are going on right now. It's in the background, but I don't. That's not like I don't. Out of the other games, I don't know. Maybe the Lakers and Golden State, but I'm not even sure honestly.
For me, it's definitely Lakers Warriors. I mean,
Okay.
outside of your favorite player of all time and my favorite player of all time, Carmelo Anthony, who you think is the GOAT.
Wow. The egregious statements being made on Christmas Day. For the viewers, no, that's not even close. That's not even remotely close to my GOAT. Kevin Durant is currently my favorite player. My favorite player of all time is Kobe. I think the GOAT is LeBron. My GOAT is LeBron James. So let me just clear that up. But anyway, continue.
But outside of Melo, LeBron's my second favorite player of all time, or my favorite player of all time. He's my second favorite player of all time. I, like you, think he's the greatest to ever play basketball. Now, yes, I did not watch Michael Jordan play basketball. I was born in 2001. I
Me
did not
neither.
see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, true. Like where it is, I just anytime you get to see LeBron versus the Warriors, even in this time where LeBron is showing a few signs of age and Steph looks like this is one of these years where he knows the Warriors aren't doing much, so he's checked out. And that'll change if Jimmy Butler finds his way there, which I expect him to. I
Mm.
just truly he requested a trade today, so
Yeah, I saw that.
I do fully expect that to happen. But it's just anytime you get to see LeBron and Steph go against each other, like there's only so many of these left, and
Yeah.
that time in that era of like Steph Curry and LeBron. It was such a nice time as the NBA transitioned away. Like that early 2010s was so fun with like just the vibes of everything. And
Did you see that
then
interview
it's,
that they did? KD, Steph, and LeBron. I haven't seen it yet, but did you see
I
the
haven't watched it yet either, but I plan on it. And I hope LeBron makes fun of them for having to team up to beat him.
facts? Wait, so before we wrap it up, so I just want to make this clear. Your favorite player currently is
My favorite player currently, well, it's the Knicks in general. It's always going to be everyone on the Knicks. So it's just the Knicks.
okay. Outside of the Knicks. Outside of the Knicks.
Outside of the Knicks, it's LeBron.
Okay, your favorite player currently is LeBron. Your favorite player of all time outside of the Knicks is
Outside of the Knicks, it's well, I mean, Melo was on the Knicks, so it's still LeBron.
okay. No, but
Melo
okay,
is
okay,
my
okay,
favorite player because he's who got me into basketball. When he got traded to
okay,
the Knicks, I knew who he was. I was 10 years old or 9 years old,
okay,
something like that, and I was like, "Ooh, I
okay.
like him."
So favorite player currently outside of the Knicks, LeBron. Your favorite player of all time is Melo. Your
Mhm.
GOAT outside of the Knicks is
LeBron. LeBron's the goat.
okay.
22 years of prime
Fair.
NBA basketball is impossible to deny. Yes, he doesn't have the same championships, but he played. I think it's in. He played in teams that averaged nearly 3 All-Stars per game. When Michael Jordan, I don't know if he ever, outside of Stockton and Malone's teams, I don't think he ever played too many teams with multiple All-Stars in the NBA Finals. I know it happened between Drexler and Hakeem and the Jazz guys, but LeBron has played heavier competition, hence the fact that yeah, obviously, what was he supposed to do? Beat the greatest team ever assembled, like with Kevin Love and Jeff Green? Like,
I'm dead.
nah.
Yeah, so the viewers, you guys know that Chris and I, we have this back and forth about my age. I am older than Chris, but I did not see, I'm not that old. I actually didn't see Jordan play in his prime. My very first basketball memory is actually,
Bob Cousy.
oh my God. My first basketball memory is Michael Jordan literally hitting that game 6 shot in Utah to end his Chicago Bulls career. That's my first basketball memory,
Wow.
which is literally his last Michael Jordan prime example, which is crazy. So I didn't get to see
Grandpa
Mike.
over here.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't see Michael Jordan at all. I only saw Michael Jordan play basically when he was with the Wizards, and he was like he wasn't super washed, but he was washed, which is the reason why my GOAT is LeBron James. But I think the GOAT is Michael Jordan. So hopefully that makes sense. My favorite player currently, KD. My favorite player of all time, Kobe, Mamba, rest in peace. But yeah, I just wanted to pick your brain. I wanted you to clarify for the audience for us.
Well, it is Christmas. We had to have a classic Chris and Dariel trail off.
Facts, 100%.
Yeah, it's Christmas. Vibes are good. Vibes are immaculate. The New York Knicks won.
Got that
Close
W.
it out, Dariel. Do your thing.
Got the W, baby. Since it's Christmas Day, it's only right I give you a Christmas Day outro. Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs. The Deuce is loose for co-MVP. OG Anunoby for Defensive Player of the Year. Taj Gibson, even though we don't see you on Christmas because you are in Charlotte, a.k.a. Basketball Purgatory, it's always Taj Gibson for President. And for next time, for Chris and I, we out, baby. Queens forever.